Top 5 running backs of 2015-2016. Let's get it. Alright, so it's very difficult for me to name out my top 5 running backs of 2015-2016. There's so many questions going into this year about a lot of the guys on this list. Arian Foster is a guy that would have been on my top 5. He ends up getting hurt before the season even starts. I forget what the hell his injury was, but he would definitely be on this top 5 list. So one of these guys wouldn't have made it if Arian Foster would have been around, because I definitely consider him a top 5 running back. Let's look at some of my honorable mentions. These are guys that just missed the cut as far as being on that top 5 list. Matt Forte is at the very top of that honorable mention list. I think Matt Forte is one of the most underappreciated running backs in football. I think he's a beast, but I just don't think he's better than the guys who I have on this list. LaShawn McCoy, going to a new team, going to that Buffalo team. I still think LaShawn is a beast, but I'm not going to put him in the top 5 this year. Le'Veon Bell had one good season. If you notice on my list, I hardly ever put a guy with one good season on my list. I put a guy with a nice track record going. Justin Forsett is another one of those guys. Had that great season for the Ravens last year. Let's see how he performs this year. And of course, Lamar Miller, another one of those guys who I expect my boy to have a huge season this year. I would love to be able to put him in the top 5. He had that one great season, and I want to see more from him. So let's dive in, and let's start off with the top 5 running backs of 2015-2016, starting with Eddie Lacy. Eddie Lacy of the Green Bay Packers. Last year, Eddie Lacy came in at 1,139 rushing yards. In 2013, Eddie Lacy had 1,178 rushing yards. It helps when you have Aaron Rodgers out there playing quarterback for you. It completely opens up your team. Safeties don't want to sniff around the box when they have a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers back there. So, I mean, he has a lot of running lanes. He's a beast of a running back. He's one of those running backs that you're not probably going to bring down with a single man. Arm tackling him is a waste of time. He's such a big guy, coming in at 5'11", 230 pounds. Big beast running back. Last year he had 9 touchdowns. This year I expect him to do just a little bit better. Maybe rushing up into the 12 to 1,300 rushing yards and another 10 to 12 touchdowns. That's the reason why Eddie Lacy is my number 5 running back on this list. Now, the next running back on this list, who I think has a ton of talent, is Jamaal Charles. Jamaal Charles has had 3 decent seasons. In 2012, he rushed for 1,500 yards. 2013, he rushed for 1,287 yards. And last year was his worst year of those 3 years. He rushed for 1,033 yards. But keep in mind that the Kansas City Chiefs did not throw a receiving touchdown to a receiver, period, last year. So safeties were able to sniff around in the box. They don't have to worry about the outside weapons. Alex Smith doesn't use them. So you can sniff around the box. You can stick 8 in the box to attempt to stop Jamaal Charles. I think he's a beast running back. Last year he played in 15 games. I used to think that he had durability concerns back in 2011. He only played in 2 games, but since that he's proven that to be incorrect. I think he's still a very good running back. He said that he's the best running back in football. I kind of disagree with him, but I do think he's one of the best. So let's head to the number 3, and the number 3 running back is where the questions start to come in at. Adrian Peterson, I gave that away very early, is my number 3 running back, and he would be my number 1 running back if I didn't have questions about him. Of course, we all know the shit that went down last year with him spanking his child, kind of went overboard with spanking his child. I can't really tell a parent how to parent. Different parents are going to have different success with different things. Whatever. But anyway, Adrian Peterson is coming back. And I mean, I haven't seen him this preseason at all. So I don't know what really to expect. I just know what he was. And what he was a ferocious running back that got yards after contact. He's one of the best running backs at getting yards after contact. He's a beast. He's fast. He's strong. He's not one of those running backs that typically catches the ball out of the backfield. But in open space, Adrian Peterson is an absolute animal. He's a threat to take the ball to the end zone from any place on the field. If I didn't have the questions about that little layoff, he'd probably be either one or two. But with the questions about the layoff, I'm going to put him at 3 just for the questions that I have. Now, the number 2 running back, my number 2 running back happens to be DeMarco Murray. Now, last year, DeMarco Murray rushed for 1,800 yards. 2013, DeMarco Murray rushed for 1,100 yards, so he's getting even better. In 2012, he rushed for 663 yards, so he went 663, 11, 21, 1845. I don't expect him to go higher, but I do expect him to go just a slight bit lower. I'm going to say he's going to rush for at least 1,500 yards. Last year, he rushed for 13 touchdowns. I'll bring him down to about 10 touchdowns this year in that Eagle team. The only question for me is who's going to be the quarterback. They have quarterback and they have wide receiver questions. That's the reason why I can't really put him at that number 1 spot. 2 might even be a little bit high, but when I think about AP, Jamaal Charles, and Eddie Lacy, I think his numbers kind of justify me putting him over those guys for right now. But he could very well fall back into that 4 spot because the numbers, I do think his numbers will go down a little bit. He's not running behind the best offensive line in football anymore as he was with the Cowboys. But I do think as of right now, as of 8/28/15, he is the second best running back in football. And the number 1 running back in football needs no introduction. I'm just here to tell you that he's the best running back in football. You got any more questions? I'm just here to tell you that he's the best running back in football. I'm really just here to tell you that he is the best running back in football. Yeah. Of course, I am talking about the beast mode himself, Marshawn Lynch. Back-to-back Super Bowls. Yards after contact, there's nobody better. Probably only Adrian Peterson is the only guy in question. But, I mean, Marshawn Lynch is a beast. He's an absolute fucking beast. He's a nightmare. And here's the thing about Marshawn Lynch. The thing is that when you come to play the Seattle Seahawks, if you looked at that roster last year, who else scares you? There's no other receivers out. There really wasn't no receivers out there. Now they got Jimmy Graham this year to give a tight end to Russell Wilson, but last year who did they have? Who were you afraid of? Even sticking 8 in the box does not work against Marshawn Lynch. He's so phenomenal. And the thing is, 2012 he played 16 games. 2013 he played 16 games. 2014 he played 16 games. Not only is he a great running back, but he's durable. He doesn't have the health concerns. The last time he had health concerns was back in 2010, where he only played 4 games. Last year, he rushed for 1,300 yards. The year before that, he rushed for 1,200 yards. The year before that, 1,500 yards. The year before that, 1,200 yards. He's a guy that you know you're going to get a lot of carries from. He's had damn near 300 carries every single season for the last 5 or 6 seasons. One arm tackles is a waste of fucking time. You'd be better off. I don't know what I mean. Trying to arm tackle Marshawn Lynch is just fucking stupid. You'd be better off not doing anything at all. You would. He's just that type of running back. Anyway, man, that is my top 5 running backs of 2015, 2016. Let's do a little recap here. Starting with the number 5, I got Eddie Lacy. Number 4, I put Jamaal Charles. My number 3 is Adrian Peterson. My number 2 is DeMarco Murray. And the number 1 running back in football happens to be Marshawn Lynch. So, let me know what you feel. Drop your comments in the comment section. The next list we're going to talk about is the top 5 quarterbacks. I got some interesting names that's going to be in the top 5 that you probably never heard me say before. I'll talk to you guys next time. Peace.